Welcome back to the Too Fast channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a product I've actually been making for a while, but it's not something that I make very often, given the complexities of the modifications and the costs involved. What we're looking at here is a Mercedes-Benz W124 chassis, auto-dimming rear view mirror with an integrated backup display screen. What this basically gives you as an upgrade is auto dimming and the ability to use a backup camera. So when you put your vehicle in reverse, you can see what's going on behind your car. So that would involve installing a backup camera, either flush mounted into your bumper or preferably not making any modifications and using a license plate frame that has an integrated camera, and then of course routing the wiring up to the front of the car and plugging it into this mirror. So if you take a look at this design, all the associated wiring for this is routed through the factory Mercedes-Benz 124 bracket and come out of the top here. Basically, we have two wiring harnesses coming out of the top, one with a RCA for video input and a Molex connector here on another wiring harness that is the main power for the mirror. The wiring that's needed for the mirror is a ground switched 12-volt power that's pulled from the sunroof switch. So you've got to have a sunroof in your car to get switched 12-volt power. If you don't have a sunroof, then you're going to have to route wiring through the headliner, down the A-pillar, into the dash area, maybe to the cigarette lighter to find switch 12-volt power. The third wire here is the turn-on lead, which is a 12-volt wire that you can either tap into the 12-volt wire in your center console for your shifter, so when you shift into reverse, it will turn the display in the mirror on. That's a bit more complicated. So what I do and some other customers have done is they will run a power wire from their backup light. So you would use a voltometer and check one of your backup bulbs, find the one that gets power when you put the car in reverse, tap into that, and run that wire up to the front of the car along with your RCA lead. Most backup cameras they'll come with an RCA harness, and those harnesses will have a power lead connected to them. So under normal circumstances, you'll have everything you need right there. Installing your backup camera, tapping into power. You can also get power for your backup camera from your backup light as well. So when you put it in reverse, the camera comes on and the display in the rearview mirror comes on. All right, so this is a OEM style build. This is built to replicate the OEM mirror that came in your 124 as closely as possible. It is made by the same company that makes the OEM mirrors for Mercedes-Benz, so it is a high quality unit. Okay, so to complete this installation, you're going to need to make um, a slight modification to your mounting plate. This is the mounting plate that your mirror will snap into. This is a modified version. So you can see that I use a rotary tool and did a little bit of modification on this in that specific area. Now that is needed so that when you go to install this mirror, you have some clearance between this mounting bracket and the spring assembly. What you don't want to do is pinch these wires. That's why you need to make this modification. Simple modification does not affect the value of your car or anything else. So if you decided to go back to the stock mirror, you could easily do that even with this modification done to this plate. Okay, so included with this particular custom mirror, you will get a custom wiring harness. Um, this isn't something that's really visible on my website picture-wise because this is a custom harness for this specific mirror, since this mirror has 3 wires. In this particular case, we've got a red, a black, and a blue. The blue would be the 12-volt power wire to turn on the screen. The red is this main switch 12-volt power that goes to your sunroof switch, and the black is the ground. There's also 2 fuses in line here, one for the backup screen and one main fuse for the mirror. The fuse on the left is a 1 amp, the fuse on the right is a 5 amp. And you can see this is a 4-position Molex, and only 3 of the pins are used for the wiring harness. Also included with this particular mirror would be a installation tool. This is a tool that it's something that I modify to make installation of these mirrors much simpler. Using a pliers, you would press in these pins on the end and then insert this in between this pin and the bracket. And what it will do is it will hold one of these pins all the way in. So when you go to install this, you would install this pin first, tilt the mirror up, hold it in place, pull this out, this pin pops out, and your mirror is installed. Easy peasy. Also included with this particular mirror will be 3 of these T-taps. This is different from the normal mirrors. The normal mirrors will only come with 2. This one will come with 3. And we've got some of these crimp cap connectors. If for some reason you don't want to use the spades and the T-taps, you can use the crimp connectors. So there's 4 of those and a couple of extra male spade connectors as well that are included in the installation kit. So that covers the accessories that come with this particular mirror, and you've got to look at the mirror. What I'm going to do is I'm going to power it up and I will show you the backup display screen. Okay, I've got everything powered up here on my display bench so we can take a look at how this backup screen works. One thing I should note, I don't think I noted in the first section, these mirrors, these particular mirrors with the backup screens, you get auto dimming and the backup screen only. There's no compass, there's no home link, there's no other features. Second, when you put your car in reverse and the backup screen comes on, the auto dimming is automatically disabled. When you switch out of reverse into drive, the screen will turn off after a few seconds and the auto dimming will come back on. So that's just the function of this particular mirror. So what I'm going to do is I've got a camera, well, right over there. You can see I've got a little camera and it's pointed at this bottle of isopropyl alcohol in my display area here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the backup screen by hooking up the blue wire. And you can see the screen comes on. It's displayed in the left corner here. And you can see that that's That's a live image. See my fingers twiddling around there. And that's basically it. This particular screen does not overlay any type of backup grid or guidelines. That would be a function of your camera. Uh, this camera that's here on my test bench isn't really a backup camera, so it doesn't have that feature. If you install a backup camera, most of them will have that feature, and you can either enable or disable that feature depending upon what you want. But that is a function of the backup camera, not of the mirror or the display screen itself. So that's pretty much what the screen looks like. It is, let's see, it is approximately 3 inches by about 2 inches. And we'll go ahead and I'll disconnect the power here to the backup screen. It's disconnected. And you can see it stays on for a couple of more seconds before it shuts off. So that is pretty much going to wrap up this demonstration of the Mercedes-Benz W124 chassis, auto-dimming rear view mirror with integrated backup screen. I should also note that this type of design isn't really, I can't really build this for the 126 or the W123 or the R107. The throats on those brackets are very narrow, and I've got a lot of wiring to route in the bracket. So at this point in time, I won't be fabricating these for those chassis. This will only be for the W124 and the W201. As a side note, this will not fit a 124 chassis cabriolet. The cabriolet in the 124 line uses a rear view mirror out of the R129 chassis. It's a completely different mirror, completely different design. This is not applicable. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this review, and I'll catch you in the next video.